Chosen one, if you're seeing this right now, it's not a scroll-by moment, it's a divine interruption. Something bigger than you brought you here. This is not just another video, post, or message. This is a call, a reminder, a wake-up from the inside out. There's something different about you, and deep down, you've always known it. While others were content to follow the crowd, something in you stirred every time you saw injustice, mediocrity, or fake smiles. That wasn't confusion. That was clarity beginning to rise. This isn't about ego. This is about identity. You were never created to blend in with systems that were built to keep you small. You were born to break molds, shift atmospheres, and carry something this world can't manufacture. And no, you're not crazy for feeling out of place. You were designed for dimensions beyond the visible. What's coming isn't hype, it's holy. So before we go any further, breathe this in. You were sent, not scattered. Marked, not missing. Called, not overlooked. You didn't stumble into this moment. Heaven timed it perfectly. Now lean in. Get ready. Because what's about to unfold won't just inspire you, it will activate you. And once your spirit recognizes the sound of truth, there's no going back to ordinary. You were born to disrupt darkness. You were born to walk different. You were born to carry light. Let's begin. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. You've always carried something others couldn't name, but your spirit never forgot. Before you had words to explain it or courage to walk in it, there was already a divine weight resting on your shoulders. While others learned who they were by trying things on, your identity was sewn into you from the start, stitched with destiny, laced with eternal code. Even as environments shifted, as chaos circled and life tried to shrink you, there was something undeniable beneath the surface. You were not simply placed on earth with breath in your lungs. You were embedded here with an invisible assignment. Not random, not accidental. An intentional echo from the mind of heaven. The discomfort you've always felt in surface-level spaces wasn't rebellion. It was remembrance. You've always been sensitive to what others overlook. Truths that live deeper. Moments that feel heavier. Silence that speaks louder. That's not a flaw. That's evidence. There's a divine framework in your DNA that recognizes what is real long before it's revealed. You don't carry this because of your background, title, or status. This isn't inherited from people. This came from the eternal. You've always walked with a charge that disrupts illusion and unsettles the shadows. The difference in you wasn't taught. It was born. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. That strange ache to rise, even when life pulled you under. That wasn't ego. That was encoded truth rising. You tried to camouflage, tried to quiet it, tried to run from it. But calling has a voice that echoes even when you plug your ears. No matter what you've lost, no matter how many times joy felt stolen, a piece of you refused to break. Because what was planted inside you is flameproof. Systems tried to label you by what hurt you, by where you were born, by how others failed to see you. But none of that changes what heaven already stamped, chosen. And the essence of that isn't material, it's spiritual rank. You don't wait to be royal. You already are. Your alignment with divine authority isn't a prize you earn. It's a bloodline you carry. This mission isn't fragile. It doesn't crumble under pressure or shift with public opinion. Its foundation is not built with human tools, and its blueprint wasn't drawn in time. It was forged before you ever took your first breath. You've been authorized to operate in sacred spaces, to confront what's false, to carry presence into the unseen. So walk with weight, speak with fire, move like you've always known this wasn't about survival. It was about stewardship. Your steps matter. Your presence is noticed. The things that kept others bound couldn't chain you because you were never made to blend. You were designed to lead. And deep within, your spirit always knew. Even when your voice didn't say it, your soul remembered. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of a sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. They that trust in the Lord shall be like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. Psalm 125 verse 1. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall in the middle of a violent sea. Waves crashing, sky turning black, the storm screaming with fury. But that lighthouse, it doesn't flinch. It doesn't break. It doesn't beg the storm to calm down. Why? Because it was built for the storm. Not to run from it, not to be afraid of it, but to shine through it. That's you, chosen one. The chaos you see isn't sent to scare you. It's sent to reveal you. All this shaking in the world, that's not just bad news. That's a spiritual spotlight pulling back the curtain and showing what's real and what's been fake all along. Institutions are folding. Platforms are cracking. The ones who were just loud without substance, they're fading. Because this hour isn't for the flashy, it's for the fortified. And here you are still standing. Not because everything around you makes sense. Not because you've had it easy. But because your roots don't grow in shallow soil. You weren't built on applause, trends, or status. You were built on truth. You were built on obedience. You were built on God. Let me tell you something. The headlines may change every day, but your calling hasn't. What's collapsing around you is just proof of what can't collapse within you. You're not held together by politics, polls, or public opinion. You're held together by purpose. And purpose doesn't retire when the news turns dark. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. See, the kingdom you're tied to doesn't adjust its power based on inflation, recession, or election. It doesn't shrink when economies do. It doesn't pivot for popularity. This kingdom operates from a place that doesn't check the stock market. It owns it. It doesn't wait for permission. It already has the authority. And you're not just in the room. You're in alignment. You don't need everything to settle down before you rise up. Sometimes the storm is the setup for your elevation. What's falling around you isn't a threat. It's a transfer. God is shifting the atmosphere not to scare you, but to position you. So don't curse the storm. Don't ask for normal. You weren't called to fit in. You were called to reign. The shaking is real, but so is your foundation. And as everything unstable gets washed away, the ones who've been anchored in heaven will rise, not because they climbed, but because they were called. You're not here to survive the storm. You're here to stand through it and shine anyway. Keep your light on. The world is watching. There's a framework within you that doesn't tremble when the ground shakes. And though the outside may feel like it's shifting constantly, your internal structure hasn't moved. What people call calm in you isn't just personality, it's placement. There's something embedded in your spirit that doesn't respond to fear the way the world does. It's not that you're numb. It's that you're native to something higher. You didn't just escape the past. You were relocated by purpose. You don't look for stability in what's trending or temporary. You recognize that real security isn't found in systems. It's found in your source. And your source is not seasonal. When others panic, you anchor. When pressure rises, something inside you expands instead of breaks. That's the proof. You were never built to adapt to culture. You were designed to influence it. And what pulses in your chest isn't survival instinct. It's spiritual clarity. You don't navigate life hoping the winds calm down. You walk like someone who's already weathered storms no one saw. There's a steadiness about you that disrupts confusion. And that's not random. It's royalty in motion. So let the noise rise. Let systems fail and trends expire. What you're part of cannot be touched by turbulence. You're not operating from below, trying to rise. You're moving from above, sent to bring order to chaos. You're not just connected to something secure. You are the evidence of it. The world may keep shaking, but what's inside you? That will not move if your heart overflows with divine love. Now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. You've entered a moment that isn't asking for your effort. It's asking for your awareness. This chapter of your journey isn't about chasing approval or proving your worth through endless motion. It's about walking fully into what has already been secured in the unseen. All those quiet seasons of planting, stretching, and surrendering were not for scraps. They were aligning you with something much bigger than effort can build. You're not stepping onto blank pages. You're entering a pre-written reality. What's ahead wasn't handcrafted by your hustle. It was composed by divine orchestration long before your name was ever spoken here. And now the time has come not to earn it, but to step into it. This next unfolding isn't happening because you made all the right moves. It's happening because you held your ground when everything told you to quit. You kept believing when nothing around you said you should. And that endurance was never invisible to heaven. It carved access into realms where striving has no influence and only surrender speaks. You weren't hidden to be forgotten. You were being reserved, not rejected. You were being readied for impact beyond visibility. The pressure wasn't pointless. It was preparation. What came against your peace wasn't targeting what you were doing. It was trying to derail what you were destined to hold. And yet here you are, still grounded, still reaching, still standing. What you're about to walk into cannot be fabricated by influence or staged by human plans. It doesn't hinge on who notices you. It's being transferred by something no eye can block. This isn't a payoff for your performance. It's the revealing of your portion. You didn't climb your way in. You were born into it spiritually, and now your posture gives it permission to manifest. Every door that opens now does so not because you forced it, but because it was waiting on you to arrive. Every elevation you're about to experience is not random favor. It's spiritual inheritance surfacing. What's next is not crafted by strategies or connections. It's the product of quiet obedience, sacred endurance, and unseen alignment. This is legacy being activated. This is what happens when your identity collides with heaven's design. No more hesitating. No more minimizing. No more trying to explain your way into rooms already assigned to you. You are not negotiating your future. You are receiving it. There's no crown to earn, no platform to chase, no race to run for worth. You're not rising by merit. You're being positioned by inheritance. It's not pride to walk forward. It's purpose. You're not grabbing a seat at a random table. You're stepping into territory that had your name marked on it long before you arrived. So expand your vision. Let your internal world match the weight of what's approaching. This is not about entitlement. It's about embodiment. You were never meant to build from scratch. You were meant to carry what has already been prepared. And the time to carry it is now. You were never just going through difficulty. You were undergoing divine design. What felt like a series of setbacks was actually the calibration of someone destined for something weighty. The pressure wasn't punishment. It was precision. You were being sculpted by invisible hands to fit a role that couldn't be filled by the unprepared. Those moments of delay weren't wasted. They were deposits. The long nights, the inner tension, the doors that wouldn't budge were all part of the curriculum. While it looked like chaos from the outside, a holy strategy was unfolding within. The silence wasn't abandonment, it was focus. The discomfort wasn't rejection, it was reinforcement. Everything you endured was tailored to teach you what titles never could. Not one wound was random. Not one lonely hour was meaningless. You were being trained beyond the surface, for decisions few will understand and responsibilities not easily seen. Where others sought applause, you were learning alignment. Where many performed, you were being prepared. Your growth didn't happen under the spotlight. It happened in the shadows. You weren't showcased. You were shaped. And now that shaping is starting to show. There's a depth in you that didn't come from books. There's a steadiness that didn't come from speeches. It came from surviving storms that tried to take you out, but only sharpened your resolve. The internal fire you carry now was not born from hype. It was born from history, your history with the divine. Every season where nothing made sense was building strength in places no one could see. And now that strength is breaking through the surface. The resistance you faced wasn't because you were unqualified. It was because you were dangerous. The adversity was confirmation, not condemnation. You were being refined in obscurity, so you could operate in authority without ego. This was not a collapse, it was construction. You've become someone who doesn't break at inconvenience. Someone who can hear silence and still walk in obedience. Someone who can cry and still move forward. That's not fragility, that's fire-tested wisdom. You've been armored with experience, not arrogance. You've been entrusted with insight, not image. What you're stepping into now is not luck, it's legitimacy. This isn't the result of ambition. It's the manifestation of alignment. What once looked like loss is now looking like launch. And when the recognition comes, the true story won't be in what's seen, but in what was survived. So when you walk through the next open space, don't diminish the path you've taken to get there. The shine people notice will never tell the full story of the weight you carried. But you'll know, and heaven will know. And that's all that ever mattered. You were never crafted for clout. You were created for command. While many race toward lights and labels, your strength flows from somewhere deeper. The force you carry isn't rooted in recognition. It's wired into your very being. You don't need a platform to walk in power. What lives in you carries authority without permission. The fire inside wasn't placed there by titles or training. It came from the breath of the one who sent you. And that breath cannot be revoked. You were chosen long before anyone knew your name. Not to chase affirmation, but to release transformation. Not to impress crowds, but to shift spiritual climates. You didn't arrive to perform. You were planted to activate. The influence you carry isn't declared by volume, but by vibration. Environments bend when you show up. Not because of what people see, but because of what can't be seen. You don't have to wear power. You emanate it. You don't have to speak loudly to shift atmospheres. Your presence speaks before your words ever do. This is why you never needed external validation. You've been marked in realms this world can't access. The stirring within you wasn't imagination, it was installation. You weren't trained for fame. You were prepared for impact. Whether you're in a hallway or a high-rise, your life broadcasts divine assignment. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. The battles you fought behind the curtain gave you a weight few can carry. Not because you aimed for influence, but because you remained when it was hardest to stay. The depth in your voice, it came from valleys. The sharpness in your sight, it came from shadows. You weren't pushed forward by applause. You were drawn forward by alignment that if your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. And now you walk like someone who knows they don't need a seat to lead. You don't strive for crowns made of gold. You carry something forged in spirit. You aren't driven by visibility. You're led by vision. You aren't waiting for an audience. You already have assignment. So whether you're raising children, writing emails, or planting ideas, you're moving on heaven's grid. The smallest act becomes seismic when done in obedience. What others call ordinary is holy ground beneath your feet. Your steps are never random. Your voice is never empty. Your yes shake frameworks. This is not charisma. This is consecration. Not spotlight, it's sanctification. You walk different because you come from a different dimension. Your life is not loud, but it's lethal to darkness. And every time you show up authentically, you send a signal. Authority has entered. You are not just another name in the crowd. You are a divine disruption waiting to be unleashed. The world isn't just turning, it's aching. Beneath the surface of daily noise and chaos, something deeper is crying out. Not for more noise, but for truth wrapped in flesh. And that truth, that response, has always been waiting inside of you. The time for watered-down versions of yourself has passed. The days of downplaying your weight in the spirit are over. What the world needs now isn't more performance. It needs people who carry presence. Not more noise, but voices born in stillness and fire. Not surface-level comfort, but deep-rooted clarity. You are not here to mimic what exists. You are here to bring what hasn't yet been seen. Everything in creation senses it. There's a tension that rises every time you hesitate. It's not confusion. It's the world missing the answer it knows is inside of you. When you shrink, the void grows. When you doubt, the delay widens. But when you step into alignment, everything else begins to shift. The impact assigned to you doesn't need public platforms or mass approval. It simply needs your full presence. When you show up as your whole self, unfiltered, uncompromised, and unapologetic, environments don't just change, they recognize. You were never expected to blend in. You were built to bring contrast. Your significance isn't measured by status or stage. It's felt in your essence. Your silence carries more weight than others' loudness because your essence is not rooted in personality, but in purpose. You were formed to rewire atmospheres, to stir the dormant, to awaken the hidden. You are not waiting for an opportunity. You are the opening. Every time you withheld, heaven held back its surge through you. But no more. There's a version of you the world has not met yet. A version that doesn't seek permission to rise. A version that walks in such harmony with heaven's rhythm that natural systems yield at your presence. You were not designed to echo what's popular. You are coded to introduce what's necessary. Influence flows when you stop imitating and start inhabiting. Miracles are not surprises for you. They're natural companions to a life lived in complete submission. This hour demands not more charisma, but more consecration. Not more ambition, but alignment. The time has come to abandon the comfort of hiding and embrace the assignment of visibility. You weren't saved to escape. You were awakened to transform. You weren't spared to be safe. You were sent to be seen. Let the version of you that heaven commissioned rise, without filters or fear. Because the answer creation is waiting on. It's you. Not a copy. Not a shadow. The original blueprint, fully alive and fully aligned. The moment you walk in that, chains won't just fall. They'll never form again. You're not traveling toward acceptance. You've been stationed in authority from the start. The realm you move from is not distant, not delayed, not developing. It's already activated. The weight you carry isn't potential, it's proof. You don't operate to earn something. You live to release what's already been deposited in you. You aren't on the outside looking in. You've been written into the blueprint, named in the decree, and seated in the inner court. This reality isn't a concept waiting to arrive. It's the infrastructure beneath your every step. You don't chase the divine. You embody its movement. This life isn't about hoping to qualify. It's about awakening to the truth that you already hold the key. You weren't drafted into greatness by public vote. You were appointed before the foundations even formed. You walk with the weight of belonging, not the burden of earning. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. The reason warfare hit early was because the enemy hoped you'd question your position. If he could convince you that you were just passing through with no name, no inheritance, he could keep you from functioning in what was already promised. But now, clarity cracks through confusion. What once felt far off is now your framework. You aren't climbing up to anything. You've already been set in place. And from that place, you don't perform for visibility. You flow from divine placement. Your every movement echoes the language of something bigger, bolder, and beyond culture's approval. This world is not where you prove yourself. It's where you represent your origin. You're not navigating this life as someone trying to belong. You already do. Not because of public validation, but because of divine verification. That's why your peace doesn't fluctuate with instability. That's why your confidence doesn't collapse under pressure. What anchors you wasn't built by flesh. It was spoken from breath, established in eternity, and sealed without expiration. It doesn't run on applause, algorithms, or economic strength. Its foundation doesn't shift when systems fall. And that's why your walk doesn't mirror fear, it mirrors alignment. You're not simply enduring life. You're manifesting dominion. You're not pleading for a glimpse of glory. You are wired to reflect it. Every move you make, every word you release, is rooted in a citizenship that doesn't bow to cycles, doesn't weaken under storms, and doesn't wait for human permission. You're not searching for the door. You are the entrance point for something unseen to move through the scene. And that's why you carry weight without trying. That's why presence matters more than position. That's why heaven doesn't need you to become someone new. It's simply calling you to live from what's always been yours. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness.